Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sally Schiffman. I'm a principal planner, and today I'm acting as zoning administrator. Today is Thursday, October 30th, 2025. On the agenda today, we will be reviewing the request for the zoning administrator to approve a minor conditional use permit and design review for round 1 entertainment. At this time, I'm going to ask that we go around the table and introduce ourselves. Please say your first and last name as well as your role with the project, and please project so we can get this on the recording. We're going to start with Alex, and we'll go around this direction.
Sorry, myself. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex Rangel, Associate Planner for the City of Escondido's Planning Commission.
Hello, everyone. My name is Peter Yu, EVP of Operations for Round 1.
My name is Matthew Strong, Director of Loss Prevention for Round 1.
Good afternoon. Jennifer Oden, attorney at Solomon, Saltzman, and Jameson, applicant's representative, i.e. Round 1's representative.
Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Kinjo. I am the Director of Licensing with Round 1.
Good afternoon. My name is Marginette Lee, and I'm the licensing manager.
Good afternoon. I'm Joanne Nguyen, and I'm a licensing representative.
Good afternoon. My name is Natalie Linde, licensing representative.
And I'm Gavin Svang, licensing representative.
Angel Estrada, witness.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to staff presentations. Alex, please provide an overview of the project, and then I'll follow it up with any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Zoning Administrator. And again, my name is Alex Rangel, Associate Planner for the City of Escondido. And I'd like to present to you a request for consideration to approve a minor conditional use permit, PL250089, and a design review, PL250285, for the indoor recreational facility and exterior modifications to the color scheme an existing tenant space within the North County Mall, and adoption of Zoning Administrator Resolution 2025-11. Pursuant to Article 61 and Article 64 of the Escondido Zoning Code, the Zoning Administrator shall have the authority to approve minor conditional use permits and design review permits concurrently. And for the record, an item was missing from Attachment 3 of your staff report, a mention of the alcoholic service letter of intent. The item was noted, but was not provided along with the staff report agenda and has been provided to you directly. Additionally, condition E1 included reference to conditions of approval from previous projects. These have also been provided to you directly and will be uploaded with the record of action. The project site itself is located within the North County Mall, located in the southern entryway of the city, addressed as 270 East Via Rancho Parkway. The site is bounded by Interstate 15 to the west and Beethoven Drive to the north and east. The mall itself is identified within the city's general plan as the Westfield Regional Shopping Center and zoned for planned commercial development. The zone and shopping center were developed in the 1980s as a multi-story regional shopping center with several anchor tenants, smaller inline shops, and freestanding dining establishments and exterior pad buildings surrounding the center. The shop's center governing document, or master plan, was most recently updated in 2012, which provided a list of permitted and conditionally permitted uses for the shopping center. This update included modifications to the exterior of the mall to include expansions of multi-regional tenant shops, the exterior design features, alterations, and adjustments for parking requirements on the site. The applicant, Round 1 Entertainment, is proposing a conditional use permit and a design review permit to redevelop an existing 3-story, approximately 149,000 square foot tenant space previously occupied by a major retail anchor tenant, Nordstrom. The proposed conditional use permit will be an indoor recreational facility, which would include dining areas, mixed recreational uses, sports challenge areas, and associated employee and amenity services. The design review permit itself consists of exterior paint modifications to the exterior building with no changes to the current architectural design. Design elements of the projects are provided to you in your staff report under Attachment 2. Signage as demonstrated on the design portion of these plans will be reviewed as a separate planning entitlement at a later date. The proposed land use would feature the following general activities, which would include bowling lanes, billiards, arcade games, private karaoke spaces, sports challenge areas, including basketball, soccer, dodgeball, and various other sports activities. The proposed recreational facility would also include an expansive food hall area, providing a variety of food stalls for both Japanese and American cuisine. Food hall itself would also include alcoholic service, provided alongside the dining hall, serving beer, wine, and distilled spirits to patrons over 21 years of age. The floor plan for these activities and services is provided under Attachment 2 of your report. Alcoholic service plans are provided under Attachment 3 of your report. City staff reviewed and analyzed the projects under the city's general plan, zoning requirements, and the master plan for the project site itself. The project is consistent with commercial land use policies, promoting the reuse, economic development of existing commercial spaces. Conditions of approval have been included for the project to ensure compliance with the zoning code and general plan. The project itself complies with all zoning and plan development requirements for the North County Mall and has been reviewed and processed under all applicable provisions under Article 61, Division 1 under conditional use permits, Article 64 under design review. The Escondido Police Department has independently reviewed the proposed alcoholic beverage use for this location and does not foresee any concerns with the service, location, or the security plans. Details regarding these portions of the review are also included in your staff report under the analysis section. Based on the information of this presentation and in your provided staff report, staff recommends approval of this project and requests that the zoning administrator adopt resolution number 2025-11, approving the modifications as conditioned. Staff and representatives from Round 1 Entertainment are here for any additional questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much. I do have a few clarifying questions for the applicant team. And I believe that Alex spoke to you guys about this through email, and so I just want to capture the responses for the record. So the first, for confirmation, have you read the conditions of approval provided, including those that are related to the original mall project? And do you have any questions or concerns about those conditions for staff?
Yes, we have read them, the entire round team, myself have read them, and no questions, all are agreeable.
Excellent, thank you. There does seem to be a discrepancy in the plans related to where alcohol services may be permitted versus where alcohol would be allowed within the facility. For example, I understand that there's one primary point of service, which would be on the first floor, but it does look like there are some party rooms on the second and third floor. On the floor plans, it indicates that the third floor party rooms would allow alcohol, but then the alcohol plan does not indicate that they would, that level would be allowed to have alcohol. So I just wanted some clarification.
Correct. We do want to clarify that. The first two floors, floors 1 and 2, yes, alcohol will be accessible within those 2 floors. The third floor in its entirety, including the party rooms, will not be accessible with alcohol. There will be no alcohol on the third floor.
Okay, thank you. I understand that the Escondido Police Department has reviewed the letter of intent for alcohol provisions and has been part of the conditions of approval process. I just wanted to understand a little more about the security plan for the site. It looks like increased security would be required between 5 p.m. and 1 a.m., whereas alcohol, of course, would be allowed from 12 p.m. until 1 a.m. in line with food service. And then, of course, you would still be open from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. And so I just wanted to understand a little more how the security works. How does Round 1 handle security in addition to what the mall would just have on site? And how that may work at your other locations.
Sure, I'll briefly answer and then I'll turn it over to the Director of Loss Prevention, Matthew. But generally speaking, Round 1 does have licensed bonded security guards at locations. The hours of those throughout Round 1 locations vary based upon the need and the demand. Matt is closely involved in every single Round 1 security plan and detail, so I'll let him give those just broad strokes, if you will, for this anticipated Round 1.
As you mentioned, we do have a different security plan per location depending on traffic and the type of facility that we have. For this one being the first food hall, it's going to be 3 floors. We don't have a particular specified scope of how many guards there will be, but we do know that we will have at the minimum 2 guards per floor starting from 5 p.m. until closing on peak days, if that makes sense. And then anytime the remainder of the days, the lower days, so say Monday through Thursday, we would have at least 2 guards at the entrance, so to screen entry because we have access point screening for age restrictions and such after certain times. And so that will all be managed, and then most likely we'll have a guard per floor on the non-peak days. That's just a general concept that we have at this point, but we don't really know exactly.
And are those, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that staff generally is trained in how to handle anybody carrying alcohol around, walking around with their drinks. Are the guards positioned at the egress points where you would prevent people from walking out into the mall within a
Yes,
certain
so generally during 5 p.m., so anytime prior to the time that the mall would be, while the mall is still open, yes, there would be signage and we would have preventative measures in place, including our own staff and guards during those times, yes.
And to answer your question, Madam Zoning Administrator, yes, all managers and staff of Round 1 are responsible beverage service trained. It's a state law requirement and all employees are trained.
Yes.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Obviously, there's arcades next to these shared access points to the mall. What do you do to help with any noise spillover from your facility out into the common area of the mall?
I'll turn that over to Cindy, actually, with respect to what they do from a very early planning perspective when they're going into new locations.
So if there is when building out, we have the sound attenuation incorporated in the building process, but also for once it's built out and once we start placing the games, we strategically place them near the entrances or away from the entrances, depending on how much sound leaks out of those shared or out of our facility into those shared spaces. We take a decibel measurement outside of the facility in the mall corridor or shared spaces, common areas, just to make sure that it doesn't go over the limit. I think there is a general, like a standard limit that we go by, is it 85?
No more than 80.
About
Right.
80, yeah.
About
And
80.
so if it is filling out, then all we have to do is adjust the game so it faces inwards towards our facility. Therefore, the sound doesn't leak out.
Okay, thank you. I know that a lot has gone into discussing parking for this particular use as it relates to the rest of the mall. There's some restrictions on how the mall allows for parking for non-retail use. And with Round 1 going in, it will really push them to their limit of parking. And so the understanding is that there will be shuttle services incorporated into the general parking plan for the mall, especially during peak holiday times. Is this something that you're in coordination with the mall? Do you see any issues with that for the operation of your particular business?
No, we don't see any issues, and I believe even most specifically in the draft conditional use permit approval, it's C3 is the condition, which the entire team has reviewed in conjunction with the mall ownership and property management team. So Round 1 certainly knows the conditions, will comply with the conditions, and will work closely with the North County Mall Management with respect to the off-site parking for employees during the peak holiday times. So still in active discussions with property management to do that and make sure it happens, but well aware of it and understand the obligation.
I will say, I just want to make sure that there's attention paid to, because your operation would run much later than mall operations. Please take that into consideration, especially if you have employees leaving the mall site at 2 a.m.
Right.
to go back to their vehicles. We want to make sure everybody's safe.
And that's part of our security plan,
yeah.
to be clear, that we do have, part of the security plan is we have a guard, at least one guard, sometimes two, that stay all the way until every employee leaves. And part of their job is to ensure that everybody gets to their car safely.
Excellent.
So that's a part that's being addressed.
I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you. And then my last question has to do with signage. So it's understood that signage is not part of this project. And I'm just curious if you have already been in conversation with mall management about your signage and when you may be ready to submit for your signage permit.
Yes, to that I can speak. So the signage, while we, Round 1, are doing the designs and working on that, we have to get approval from the mall side, or landlords and I guess building owner. And they are going to be taking care of the plan modifications. We are just merely submitting the design, and they will be doing all the submitting and coordinating with the city.
Okay, excellent. So I just want to make it clear that'll be a bit of a process, but Alex will likely be assigned to it once it comes through us.
And we did have, just to put it on the record, Alex and I had a conversation outside the room before the hearing started, and we were talking about that process and the next steps. So yes, we will get an estimate of the timeline and then have the property owner and management team work directly with Alex, hopefully, on the issue.
Perfect. You'll want to just line that up with, your start dates.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. That answers all of my questions. I really appreciate that. And with that, I have reviewed the staff report and the resolutions. I understand the project before me, PL 240089 and PL 0295. As a request to the zoning administrator to approve a minor conditional use permit and design review. The minor conditional use permit is to allow for the occupation of an indoor commercial recreation use within the existing shopping center, and the design review is to allow for a change to the building's exterior color scheme. The proposed conditional use permit and design review are in substantial compliance with the Escondido Zoning Code and the North County Mall Plan Development. Therefore, per the authority under Article 61 and Article 64 of the Zoning Code granted to me as zoning administrator, I do deem this item approved. This is resolution number 2025-11. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And meeting adjourned.